told the guys we don't make the schedule, and all we do is, we're going to just take 1 week at a time and worry about the things we can control.
And Sean Clifford's been their quarterback. Obviously, this will be your first time playing him after playing Trace McSorley for all those years. What do you think makes him unique as a passer?
I don't know what makes him unique as a passer. I think as a quarterback, he has a good combination of escapabilities, got good spatial awareness. He can get himself out of trouble, accurate throwing the ball. You can tell he's competitive and tough and well prepared and a good leader.
Front row left, Mitch. Ryan, Justin was a few weeks ago was talking about his schedule and how all of his classes are online, and I'm wondering how much are you aware of whether the players have online classes, are going to class, have to go to class on a certain time, and are you and do you prefer that online situation because it gives them more flexibility for football?
Yeah, we're aware of everything. I mean, we make sure we know every week we go through on a Thursday meeting and go through every single class for every single guy on our team at length. That's a long meeting. We make sure we're up to the minute on what's going on. So for sure we know everything that's going on. And I think the online classes bring some benefits to the table for sure. And it's kind of different than the way we all grew up, very not face to face, but it gives those guys some more flexibility. And so. I think a good mixture of the in person and then also online classes is good.
Second row right, Kyle.
What are some of the under the radar things that Justin has improved on in his passing game this season, other than just simply he's throwing the ball better?
I mean, I think it's all the above. I think every week he gets a little better in each area, so it goes all the way from. In the run game, identifying where he's going to go with the ball, because you have to make a decision on just about every run game or every play in the run game. And in passing, it's protections, it's identifying coverage, it's going through protections, it's understanding down and distance, throwing it away, anticipation, all the above.
And were you on the scout team at all in New Hampshire?
Yeah.
Just, I guess, kind of speak to how difficult that job is, and are there some, I don't know, one or two guys that kind of shine every week on the scout team here this year?
There's a lot of guys. We give the Scout Team Player of the Week award. We actually 4 guys each week, 2 on offense, 2 on defense, 1 skill, 1 line. And those guys are just as important as anybody else. The look is so critically important. And there's a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys who started off on the Scout team that are playing on special teams or playing right now. And that's a great opportunity every day to go against really good players and to get better.
You wants to see your players absorb and enjoy the pageantry of this weekend, and specifically Senior Day on Saturday, and how much of you would prefer that they be in a hermetically sealed bubble where all they're focused on is what they have to do their 111?
Yeah, I think it's easy to say enjoy the experience and say that. I think it's harder to do, but we will talk about that, and we talk about that each week. You got to enjoy it because time waits for nobody. And you have to grab onto this thing and hold on as tight as you can because, this is a special opportunity for all of us, and we have to make sure we understand that. And I think our guys do understand that. I think that they have appreciated each other and the moments, but, in big games like this, you're just so focused on what's going on. Sometimes it's hard to really appreciate it all until it's all over.
Urban, even at the end of his tenure, was talking about how special his first class of seniors was because it helped him to establish the foundation of what he wanted to accomplish here. I imagine your feelings toward your senior class is similar heading into this weekend. Yeah,
there's no question. We've been through a lot in the last couple of years, and love these guys with all my heart. And they've become family, and so certainly for those guys who are having their last game in the stadium like that, it is going to be emotional, and they deserve everything that they get in terms of praise and admiration from everybody in Buckeye Nation for what they've done. And it is a special group.
Second row left, Bill.
Ryan, I think you have, if I have the number right, a dozen fifth-year scholarship seniors on this team. Kind of a high number for a place like this. Just how have you seen that dynamic impact your roster this year?
I think the maturity level is off the charts. I just think having grown men in your program, I mean, if they've been in our program for 5 years, they're grown men. And just the approach, they're almost like player coaches. And they know what's right, and they're around the team, and the young guys more than we are. And there's a self-police going on right there, and those guys, mentor the younger guys and want to leave a legacy behind. I've heard that several times from many of the players. So having maturity like that is important, because you can tell guys until you're blue in the face about, if we don't show up this week, here's what can happen. But guys who have been through it before and have those scars, it's a little bit more real.
How much do you and your staff talk with guys about their individual recruiting classes leaving an impact on the program? There's some guys from 2015 whose class started kind of wonky, but they seem to be finishing out the career strong. I just don't know if you measure that at all.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit. I think that they have relationships they built when they came in together. There's a bond there when you come in as a group, but we don't talk about it all that much. There was a couple moments last spring where we grabbed one of the classes and said, now it's time to grow up. No longer are you freshmen. It's time for you guys to now step up. And so we'll do that, a little bit in the off season, but overall, it's not something we focus on.
Ryan, what's made KJ such a good fit for what you want to do with the passing game?
I think KJ just got a tremendous way of just playing the game. He's got great body language for a quarterback. Like, certain receivers they know how to get open and they know how to talk to the quarterback with their body language. He understands space. He knows how to get open. He's crafty. He's been around. He's clutch. When you just think about all the plays he's made in his career, it's pretty amazing. And the production that he's had is off the charts. And it goes back, KJ's he's not 4'3", he's not 6'5", but he just has a way, like I think Bill Belichick says about the best thing about a receiver is he gets open and he catches the ball. And that's what KJ does.
It just seems like, I'm trying to think of the right way to phrase this. Like, last year they had the three seniors, and he chose to come back, but they overshadowed him a little bit. There's been a lot of talk about Olave or Garrett Wilson this year, the whole thing. It just seems like he's on the brink of these records, but has never really had the spotlight to himself. What is it, about him that has made him so valuable?
Well, I mean, our team knows, in this room right here, when we have our team, the spotlight is on him because he is a team captain and one of the more decorated receivers in the history of the school, and his production, again, speaks for itself. But, and he kind of a leader by example in the way he goes about his business. And but, again, I just think it's all those things. Some guys are just competitively tough. They understand, again, how space works and how to get open and how to find the open window and how to win against man-to-man and all those things. That's KJ, and he's left a lot of that into that room, and there's a lot of those younger guys that have learned from him this year.
Third row left, Dan. Ryan, you guys seem to be a little more aggressive passing the ball the last couple of games. Was any of that calculated looking ahead to this game and seeing how strong Penn State's run defense has been?
No, not really. No, it was just something that was a focus coming off the bye week. Is we just wanted to do a little bit better job throwing and catching the ball, and also in some of those games we want to get the throws in a little bit earlier in the game if we think it's going to go the way it's been the last couple of weeks. And so typically in games that get a little lopsided, we have to run the ball a little bit more in the second half. And so when you look back on those games, you want to make sure that guys like KJ and guys like Ben and those guys are getting touches. So that's a little bit calculated going into those games.
When you look at this Penn State defense, and I think they're number one right now in yards per carry allowed, how important is it for Justin to be ready to have to put the team on his back if that situation?
Oh yeah, I mean of course he has to. I mean that's what he has to be ready for. That's what he's working for all week is to be in that game and come down and win the game in the fourth quarter like JT Barrett did, like Dwayne Haskins did the year before. I mean that's the game we're in. So it's going to take everything we have.
Third row left, Edward.
Ryan, was Chase Young able to practice the last couple of weeks, and if so, how much was he able to do?
Yeah, he's been practicing. He wasn't really involved in the game plan the last couple of weeks, but he has been practicing, and Larry's been doing some extra work with him on the field drill-wise. But now he's right back to practicing with the defense.
And what sort of pitch count, if any, is he on this week and the game on Saturday?
No, he'll be playing.
Far left, Matt.
The stakes of this game are obvious with both teams. With a game like this, do you even have to bring that up? Is it all X's and O's? I mean, what a win would mean you're already in Indianapolis. Could you just talk about the dynamic of that and how much you talk about that versus this is just another game plan?
Well, I think our team knows what's at stake. We've talked about that, but now it's time to just focus on Penn State. and this is a talent-equated game. We all know we've been in some games that we've had more talent than some of the other teams we played. This is a team that talent equates, and so when that happens, it goes back to discipline, it goes back to fundamentals, it goes back to toughness, all of those things that come into play when your talent no longer matters. And so those are the things, and we got to do a good job putting a good game plan together, let the guys play, and then prepare them to go, and then the team who's more prepared will win the game.
There's a lot of stuff that goes when you have a big game like this. ESPN's here, Fox is here, all this stuff. Is it more difficult coaching-wise to make sure everybody's focused? It sounds strange to say because it's such a big game, but with all the distractions, it's even senior day and things like that. Is that something you have to work on with the staff, or are you not worried so much about it?
No, I mean, I think that goes hand in hand with being in Ohio State. When you're to where we are at this point of the year, it's expected. You're going to have a lot of eyes here, but a lot of eyes are on us every week. And I talked to the guys about that even last week. Being at Rutgers, maybe it didn't feel like that, but the whole nation was watching. And if you don't show up to play, then you put yourself at risk. So it's the same thing week in and week out. And certainly, if we knew we'd get to this point, we knew this game was going to be like this, so we're prepared.
I've asked you this before. You've been asked plenty of times. We thought maybe Cincinnati, we thought maybe Wisconsin, Michigan State, that this would be a game where you truly were tested. You're 10 games in, and you really haven't been. At this point of the year, having gone through 10 games, how confident are you that when you are tested, if you're facing real adversity in the fourth quarter, this team is ready?
Well, I think in the Wisconsin game, I mean, we were only up 3 points there in the third quarter, and I think that was the one time I can look back and say, yeah, we had adversity at that point. We responded, so I feel good about that. Now whether we do or not, that's going to be based on what happens in this game, and that's why you play the game to find out. But I look back on that moment as a point where our backs were against the wall and we did respond.
And you mentioned that in this game, talent is equated. Could you kind of give a rundown of Penn State and what especially concerns you? What phases of their game, what players really concern you?
Yeah, first off, James is an excellent coach and does a great job with the program and motivating everybody involved there, and has done that for a long time. He knows how to win in big games, prepare guys in all three phases. I think their coordinators are excellent. I think Ricky Ronnie and Brent Pry do a really good job schematically, creating a lot of problems, but also being fundamentally sound. And then they have the players on offense. I think Clifford's playing really well. Hamler's more dynamic players in the country. I think Dotson's as good a wide receiver as there is in the Big Ten. And Freiermuth and some of those other guys are really talented as well. So I think you got a skill set over there, guys that can really hurt you. And then on defense, Micah Parsons is as talented as there is, again, in the conference. They do a good job up front with their front. They mix those guys in. Sean Spencer, the D-line coach, does a good job of rolling those guys in and out. They got a lot of depth there. And then really those guys have played a lot of football. I mean, Reed has played a lot of football. There's a lot of guys in the back end who have some experience there. So when you combine the experience with the good coaching and the fundamentally, sound schemes, that they pose a major problem for us. And so it's going to be a big challenge.
Second row right, Tony.
Ryan, you talked about talent being equated. This will be probably the third time you've faced maybe the best run defense in the Big Ten. You've responded really well the first two times against Michigan State and Wisconsin, I'm guessing. I'm wondering what allows you to do that? You mentioned toughness. How much of that is in play when you're able to do this against defenses that don't normally allow that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a challenge for us because they're very, very good at what they do. And you have to figure out ways schematically to go at them and figure out how you're going to defeat their schemes. But then at the end of the day, it comes back to what we talked about, which is toughness. And getting the game to the fourth quarter and then wearing them down and then doing everything you can to go win the game in the fourth quarter.
February, January?
Exactly.
Right behind him, Rob.
You touched on this earlier. The quarterback-receiver relationship. Sometimes a quarterback has that guy who focuses on. What makes that work? You've done this a long time with quarterbacks. Is there any danger in locking in and depending a quarterback on a certain guy, a Fields to an Olave or there? How do you work that through in practice?
Yeah,
it's good and bad, I guess.
Yeah, no, I think that's why we roll our receivers. That's why, whether it's 7-on-7 or teamwork, we roll those guys constantly. So everybody's getting work with each other. But you're not, I mean, as a quarterback, you're not just picking out your favorite receiver. I mean, it's all based on coverage. It's based on progressions. It's it's based on what the defense is giving us. And if KJ Hill is the first read in the progression and he's open, then he's going to get the ball. And if he's not, then something's wrong. If he's not, then it goes on to the next guy. Now, part of that is, do you get open, especially versus man-to-man coverage? If it's zone, then you have to space it out, and the timing has to be right. So those are all the conversations that go with it. And guys do have better chemistry with each other. That happens, but I think the more they play with each other, the better off it is. Yeah.
Is that what creates the chemistry? Just that sort of, it works, and so it continues to work?
I think so. And I think the communication and the time they spend together talking about different things and how much work they want to put into figuring out coverages and talking things out in the game plan helps as well.
You spoke on this after the game. It's almost a catch-22. The better you guys have been collectively, it's hurt individual stats in a sense. How much of a tug is that for you to try to work through that whole thing? It's a challenge. It is what it is.
It is. Yeah.
Frustrating?
No, it's not frustrating. I mean, shoot, it's a good problem to have. I'm sure people look at me like, what is he frustrated about? But it's, for those guys, I get it too. They're competitive. They want to be out there. They want to have production, and they are. They're producing at a high level. So there's a lot of football ahead of them, and they know that. They know that. In these games here, I mean, it's going to take everything we have to win the game. So very, very different than maybe the last couple of weeks.
Second row middle, Bruce. In your 2 years here, the Penn State game has been unique, and you've been down by 2 scores in a fourth quarter both times. Take me through the dynamic of working with the guys upstairs, you as a play caller, communicating on the field. Is it different then than it is during the game because of the urgency, or what has to work in those moments for the dynamic to come together and for you to be able to do what you've done?
Yeah, I mean, those games were no different other than the fact that we were down and looking to come back. I feel like in the last couple of years, we felt like we had good stuff. We just weren't executing great. In the first game, we turned the ball over. The second game, we hit the tight end in the head with the ball. I mean, it was a great throw, and it was a turnover in the game. There was just some of those things that went on in that game, and we just felt like we had the right stuff, and we just had to hang in there. So, we've talked to our guys about that even this week. We got to come out to a fast start. The first game, the opening kickoff return for a touchdown. We kind of put ourselves behind the 8 ball in those games, and then, but to answer your question, it's just communication, just trying to figure out, like, do we need new plays, or are the plays working? We're just not executing them very well. And when you go against good defenses, things like that happen.
So I wondered, in those situations, by definition, what you're doing is not working, or you wouldn't be down. So are you, as a play caller in those situations, are you thinking, all right, what's on page 35 of the playbook rather than the first couple that I plan to use this week? Are you looking for something you haven't tried, or how do you make a judgment on, no, this is good, what we plan to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday will work, we just have to do it a little differently?
Yeah, I think that's the art of coaching, is figuring out, is it the right thing that we just need to execute better, or is the play no good? And that's based on, the different styles of defense that you play against. And